by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Welcome to Rogers Center. It's a cool, overcast day here in Toronto. The roof is open. Blue Jays have lost 3 in a row, as you heard from Jamie Campbell in the pregame show. They need to turn it around, and they're going to have their hands full with David Price. He's 8-1 in 10 career starts against the Blue Jays. On the other side of things, Brandon Morrow will go to the mound, and he has pitched very well against Tampa Bay. Morrow has made 6 career starts. He's got a 3-2 record. Before the start of this game, you can see Brett LAWRIE on the field, and he is shaking hands with the coaches and players from the Canadian representatives to the Little League World Series from Langley, BC. Of course, that's the home of Brett LAWRIE. Now let's take a look at the lineups for Tampa Bay. The starting lineups brought to you by TD Canada Trust. Banking can be this comfortable. Joe Madden's team has racked up 6 runs in each of the first 2 ball games. Desmond Jennings, the rookie, has done a nice job top of the order. Veteran Johnny Damon back in the lineup after not starting yesterday. Evan Longoria, Ben Zobrist, Casey Kotchman. That's the heart of the order, and they have been productive. B.J. Upton had the big blow in the game yesterday, a 3-run, a home run in the 7th inning off Jesse Litch. Matt Joyce, John Jaso, and Sean Rodriguez round out the lineup.
Brandon Morrow has made 23 starts this year. The ball club is 13-10 in those starts. He's trying to bounce back after he gave up 6 runs, a career-high 11 hits in just 4 2/3 innings to Kansas City on Tuesday. His pitches were very flat in that game. He's going to try to improve on that a little bit this afternoon. Morrow has split a pair of starts this season versus the Rays. He's given up 4 runs in 11 2/3 innings, and he has struck out 17 Rays already this season. For his career, he is 3-2. Scatter report on Brandon Morrow is brought to you by Home Hardware. Homeowners helping homeowners. Turn it up. His fastball can really get on you. It really explodes towards home plate. He's got that sharp slider where he'll get a lot of strikeout. And he shines versus the Rays. You get that? Shines versus the Rays. His numbers against Tampa are off the charts. 43 in the 3rd innings. He's given up 9 earned runs, a 136 batting average, 49 strikeouts, and just 19 hits given up against Tampa.
I do get it. It took me a while, but I get it. Tampa Bay, the Rays, and Morrow shines, and he certainly does. Desmond Jennings has been shining a lot since he's rejoined this ball club. The rookie left fielder playing in his 34th game, and look at the numbers he's put up. 30-36 average, 6 home runs and 16 RBI. Jennings had a home run in the opener on Friday night, a 2-run shot in the 3rd inning off Henderson Alvarez.
They weren't real sure if Desmond Jennings was going to be a leadoff hitter, but they put him in there, and he has done a great job. He's got a good high on-base percentage. He battles the pitchers, doesn't give away at bats, and of course he's got that great speed.
First pitch swinging, drills it toward left, high and deep and gone. A first pitch home run for Desmond Jennings, his 6th of his 7th of the season. Jennings didn't waste any time, went upstairs and jumped on that high fastball.
He is 2nd on the team in home runs since the All-Star break, and when you factor in he didn't come up until July the 23rd, that's pretty impressive. First pitch fastball, inner half, short swing, takes the barrel to the ball, and the ball is jumping out of this ballpark today. We were standing around the batting cage while the Blue Jays took BP today, and the ball was jumping.
He made a point of Morrow saying that his pitches were flat, and that was a great example of it. He got underneath it, and that fastball stayed right up about letter high. Johnny Damon, a ball and a strike. Damon did not play in the game yesterday with the left-handed starter Luis Perez on the mound. There's a changeup, big bouncing ball to Kelly Johnson. Damon's retired.
Couple of changes this afternoon defensively for the Blue Jays. Let's take a look at it. Thames Mike McCoy will play in center field with the left-hander David Price on the mound. He'll be joined by Jose Bautista in right field. Edwin Encarnacion will get the start at first base as Adam Lind has the afternoon off. Brett LAWRIE, Escobar have been great on the left side of the diamond, and Jake Arancibia back behind the plate, forming the battery with Brandon Morrow.
Arancibia had a great day behind the plate yesterday, threw out 3 base runners for the first time in his career. Evan Longoria Cuts to the fastball. That home run Desmond Jennings hit, just the second that Morrow has allowed the Tampa Bay. He gave up a Johnny Damon 2-run home run earlier in the year right here at Rogers Center. And that 2-run home run, the only runs of the ball game. But Morrow is up. Not as effective when he is up as he is when he's down around the knees.
Yeah, stay down with your fastball and use it.
Breaking ball hit in the right. Easy play for Bautista. Longoria is retired. They're 2 down.
Some of his better games have been right here at this ballpark against this team, the Tampa Bay Rays. Last year, 8-1 here at Rogers Center. This year, just 4-7. That's the mystery that we were talking about in the opening.
It's hard to fathom a dramatic turnaround like that. His ERA is almost 4 runs higher at home this year than it is on the road. Ben Zobrist. Zobrist playing at second base this afternoon. Everyday player. Either starts at second or in right, occasionally as the DH. There's a good fastball. That's the area where Morrow really wants to work. Down around the knees with that fastball. Then you can change the eye plane later on once you establish that you're going to throw strikes down.
Before his last start against Kansas City, he had a run of about 4 straight starts where he really spotted his fastball. And watching him, I think that's the whole key to Brandon Morrow, is being able to spot your fastball and use that because it sets up the breaking pitch. He used his curveball a lot in his last start against the Royals.
Strike 3. There's a well-spotted fastball down in his zone. First strikeout of the game. Zobrist goes down. He's had a tough time with Blue Jays pitching all season long. He's been held to a 185 average. Tampa Bay 1-0. Ball club as he is trying to recover from the impact of pneumonia. Don Wakamatsu continues to manage the team. Today, a little bit of a shakeup in the lineup. Mike McCoy moves up to the leadoff spot. Escobar, Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion. Kelly Johnson, he hits 5th in this lineup. Brett LAWRIE, Jose Molina. Eric Thames in left field hit a home run yesterday, and JP Arancibia behind the plate.
David Price, and it's always a tall order when David Price is on the mound when you're facing one of the better left-handers in all of baseball. Toes the rubber as he's put together 3 consecutive solid starts. He's pitched 8 innings in each one of them. He beat the Yankees, he beat the Red Sox, and then was outpitched by the Tigers his last time out. Just an 11-11 record, but a very fine ERA at 3.5, and he's been well documented the great numbers he has had against Toronto.
Surely the prize pick when you get the first overall pick in the draft, and that's what Price was in 2007, and he has responded in kind. Price made it to the big leagues in September of 2008. Didn't waste any time in the minors. First pitch from Price. Mike McCoy playing in center field. Yesterday, Dwayne Wise made his season debut with the Blue Jays in center. Ball and a strike. David Price, 8-1 for his career against the Blue Jays in 10 career starts. As we mentioned last time out, August 2nd, the Blue Jays beat him for the first time. Ricky Romero was great on that start. 8 innings of one-hit ball.
What a day that was to watch two of the better left-handers go at it in that game. Watching people like Price and Morrow, Romero when they're out on the mound and doing their thing, it really shows you how good they are when they shut down good hitting teams.
The only hit that Romero gave up in his 8 innings was a solo home run to Desmond Jennings. 3-1 to McCoy. Taking all the way, it's a full count. Blue Jays have hit .221 against David Price. Once again, a reminder how challenging he has been. Leadoff walk.
Good start for the Jays. McCoy at first base with the leadoff walk. The scouting report for David Price. The game faces on. We've seen him the last couple of days joking around and having fun in that dugout. But when the game starts, he is a fierce competitor. You can see it right there on his face. He's got the fastball with a tail. It's 95 with very good movement, trying to get it into the strike zone after the first batter. And the change of pace. He throws you off balance with a good curveball and a good changeup. But he is basically, here it is, trying to hit my best #1 pitch, and that's his good tailing fastball.
Yeah, he's very much like Brandon Morrow in his ability to throw that good fastball and get it into good spots in the strike zone. There he jumps ahead of Yunel Escobar. Escobar drops down into the 2 spot today with the left-hander Price on the mound.
This could work out real nice for Yunel Escobar. Runner on first base. Price likes to throw that tailing fastball, and Escobar can hit the ball the other way. In batting practice today, he was really working on trying to hit the ball to the right side.
Dwayne Murphy talks to him a lot about staying to the middle of the diamond, to the opposite field, staying on balls, and he's got a lot of moving parts in his swing, and his hand action and the way he moves his hands. It's really tough for him to pull a lot of balls, but he's really good when he stays to the opposite field.
Classic inside out swing from Yunel Escobar. That time just cannot catch up to that fastball.
This is what you're going to get against David Price. He's going to work that outside corner.
So you know it. He can cut that fastball out there. He'll sink it a little bit. That time Escobar just didn't get the foot down, and the ball was by him.
Power against power. David Price facing Jose Bautista. There goes McCoy. Ball went all the way back to the screen. McCoy steals it, and he looked quickly to the third base coach with that ball going back. Oftentimes base runners will think it was a foul ball.
That's all you have to look for is your third base coach. He'll tell you what to do. It will be a stolen base for Mike McCoy, his 6th in 7 attempts, as the ball looked like it went off the glove of Jay Soba with McCoy in motion.
Changeup missed down and away. 2-0 to Bautista. Great numbers across the board for Jose. 315, 37, 83 RBIs, and he would love to hit it right there. David Price with a long look into the umpire, Jeff Nelson. Pitches are really working Bautista over, just 235 on a homestand. He had the green light, but didn't like the pitch.
A little bit in for his liking as Price buries that fastball in the inner half. He'll have the green light anytime he wants. He has such a good idea at the plate. Will lay off pitches.
Had a good rip at that pitch and fouled it back. 4 career home runs against the Rays' big left-hander. Bautista is at 409. 9 for 22.
That's because David Price will challenge him. He doesn't give in and throw breaking balls here or pitch around him. He'll challenge him. And he loves his fastball. Jose Bautista is a very good fastball hitter.
Throw him a changeup in a good spot, down and away. Bautista strikes out. Back-to-back strikeouts for Price.
It is a changeup. He takes a little something off. It's still 86 miles an hour, but it's in a good spot. The arm action from Price tells Jose Bautista it's a fastball, but it's not. He pulls a string on him and gets him out in front. It's a lot like James Shields the other night. That's what they did with Bautista. Do him a lot of off-speed stuff.
Edwin Encarnacion starting at first base this afternoon. Takes a fastball upstairs. Bounced foul. Another off-speed pitch. Encarnacion hit his 14th home run of the season yesterday in the 8th inning. But the last 8 games have been a bit of a struggle. Just 5 hits in 32 at-bats.
A couple of home runs, one down the right field line the other day, late in the game. That was off of Joaquin Soria, and then one in the 9th inning yesterday to left field.
Well, that's a borderline high strike right there. Encarnacion looking down, and Price elevated the fastball. Tampa Bay leads 1-0. Mike McCoy at second with 2 outs. Cut on and missed after a leadoff walk and a stolen base. David Price cinches up his belt and strikes out the side. He gets Escobar, Bautista, and then Edwin Encarnacion. Across the board, 3-3, 209, and look at the strikeouts per 9 innings. This is a team that he's always had a lot of confidence against.
Yeah, everybody remembers the 17-game strikeout that he had last year. His first start this year, back on April the 23rd, was against Tampa. He threw 5 in the 3rd innings, had 10 strikeouts against them. That time, it's the slider for me. When he can command the fastball and then use that slider for the strikeout pitch, we've seen it time and time again against this team.
Casey Kochman starting at first base. He was in the lineup originally yesterday, but he was scratched due to flu-like symptoms. Later on, came in the game defensively in the 7th inning. Goes after that fastball and fouls it back. Not starting at first yesterday snapped the streak of 74 consecutive starts at first base for Kochman, and that's a franchise record for Tampa Bay. Been a real Iron Man over at first. Sean Rodriguez started yesterday and eventually moved around the diamond, and today he's at short.
The old record was held by Carlos Pena. That was back in 2008 when he played 58 straight games at first base.
Kochman has, excuse me, Pat. Kochman has roots with Joe Madden. They both came through the Angels system, and when Tampa Bay had a need at first, Kochman's name came up. Off-speed pitch. Easy ground ball to second. Kochman's retired.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
One down here in the second inning. Tampa Bay. Solo home run by Desmond Jennings on the first pitch of the ball game. They're up 1-0. B.J. Upton, 3-run home run in the seventh inning yesterday. The difference in a ball game. 6-5 win for Tampa Bay. Blue Jays came back late in the game, but too little too late. Good slider just off the outside edge. Morrow has dominated Upton, and the velocity has given BJ a lot of problems. He just 1 for 13 against Brandon Morrow.
That's because he can do that there. He can elevate the fastball off of Upton. You got to get that bat started for that fastball, and then you're primed for the strikeout with the slider. Here's the high one. That one went right by BJ. Snapped that 0 for 18 yesterday.
Well, that was a late check swing. He just barely got a piece of it to deflect it.
Trying to go right back up there, and he pushes him off the plate.
And hit the knob of the bat?
Looked like it.
Yeah, looked like it hit the knob of the bat. I think Upton and Morrow both thought that was a strike.
One looked like he was ready to head back to the dugout. The other one looked like he was looking for the ball.
2-2, 1 out. Oh, another close pitch.
I like how he's trying to establish his fastball. He has to do that. His last start, he just didn't have that. A lot of the off-speed pitches were just spinning up to the strike zone.
And there he loses B.J. Upton. Walks him after being ahead. Morrow knows he let Upton off the hook because of his ability to dominate B.J. Upton. Now he's got to worry about a stolen base. Matt Joyce back in the lineup. He did not play yesterday's game. Joyce opened up the series, went 2 for 4 on Friday night. Upton with an aggressive lead. Popped up over near the Blue Jays dugout. Aaron Sebia looked like he missed it right at the end. It just disappeared in the sun. Looked like he had a bead on it, and then right when he got to the barrier in front of the dugout, lost it.
Yeah, he gave up, gave it one more look, and then just didn't see it. Looked up into the sky. It looks like he's going to reach for it, and then disappeared on him.
Yeah, disappeared. It's a hazy day here. And he was looking straight up into that sky, and when he got to the railing in front of the dugout, took his eye off it. Next time he looked up, he couldn't find it. Oh, 0-1. Upton at first, 1 out. Bounced, and Upton will move up. Breaking ball in the dirt. caromed off Aaron Sebia to allow Upton to move into scoring position.
That's the thing that you have with Brandon Morrow, because his fastball and his breaking ball have so much bite to it. Anything in the dirt, tough to block it. This will be his 8th wild pitch out in front of home plate. J.P. Aaron Sebia slides over just to try and keep it in front of him, but has no chance.
There goes Upton. He got a great jump there, and Sebia couldn't find the handle. Boy, Upton got a walking lead at second.
You could see that whole thing develop as soon as he got to second base. He told Tom Foley to let me know where the shortstop is, and then took off as soon as Morrow gave him one look. He looked towards home, picked his leg up, and then Upton was gone. Nobody in the inner defense around second base to hold him.
Yeah, you've got to know that they're going to try to run in that situation. It's 2-1 to Joyce, and there's a strike. Aaron Sebia, we mentioned he threw out 3 Tampa Bay base stealers yesterday. Tampa Bay have been very successful in their percentage. There's strikes out. Morrow always has that ability to rack up the strikeouts and keep that base runner at third.
That's one of the things that separates him from other pitchers, that ability. When he finds himself into trouble, he can just reach back for a little bit more, go into his bag and find a strikeout, hopefully just to leave that runner at third base. But
John Jaso, the catcher.
You were talking about J.P. Aaron Sebia. He was great yesterday, threw out the 3 base runners. But Joe Maddon was saying before the game, that can't stop us from doing what we need to do, and that is to steal bases, cause havoc when they're on the bases.
Popped up again, this time out of play.
So they're going to just go ahead and run anytime they want, or anytime they feel they can get a run.
They don't have the type of offense where they can sit back and string together a bunch of hits. So every time they can get a runner to third base, they're going to try, whether it's first and third or a steal from second base. Boy, the strikeout is huge for Brandon Morrow in these situations. With that runner at third and less than 2 outs, he struck out Matt Joyce. Breaking ball, fair ball. Upton jogs in. Jaso is headed for second. Here's the throw from Thames. It'll be cut off. Boy, a high breaking ball. Jaso just slapped at it and kept it fair inside the bag at third.
That's twice on this homestand now that we have seen a left-handed batter just reach out on a breaking ball, hit it off the end of the bat, and keep it fair down the left field line. Nothing you can do about that if you're the third baseman. The pitcher, you make a good pitch like that, he hits it. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, it's a 2-out RBI.
I just don't think that's a great pitch with 2 strikes. It's a looping breaking ball. Looked like the curveball as opposed to the slider. And that is maybe his 4th best pitch.
Started throwing a lot more of those curveballs his last few starts. The element of surprise.
But think about how many times we've talked about American League hitters with 2 strikes in RBI situation, just trying to shorten up and put the ball in play. By throwing him that slow breaking ball, you give him a lot more time to put it in play. Sean Rodriguez chases that breaking ball. Rodriguez has had a tough time against right-handed pitching all year long. That has really hurt his ability to be an everyday player so far in his career.
That's why the batting average is down to 218. Came into yesterday's game against lefties up over 280 and had a hit. The right-handers have given him trouble, and it's been the breaking ball.
And he gets a fastball and drills it. This ball is gone. To the second deck in left. Second home run Morrow has allowed here this afternoon. Number 6 for Sean Rodriguez. The bottom part of the order did the damage yesterday, and Jaso and Rodriguez have They've given Tampa Bay a 4-0 lead.
Doing it again. Fastball on the inner half. They wanted it away, but it's down and in. And for a right-handed batter, all he has to concentrate in is take the hands as quickly as possible to the inner half. Take the barrel to the ball. You shorten it up, and that's when the ball really jumps off your bat. Rodriguez, a .284 career hitter versus the Blue Jays.
But just batting .180 against right-handed pitching this year. Desmond Jennings jumped on the first fastball of the ball game and knocked it out of the ballpark. His 7th home run of the season. High and deep to left field. Thames back at the track, at the wall. Home run, Jennings. 2 home runs for the Rays leadoff hitter. Another pitch up in the zone, and he went up and tomahawked it.
Looked like a fastball. That he got. 135 home runs now for this team. 4th time that they have gone back-to-back. Again, they want the fastball down and away, and it leaks out over the middle of the plate on the inner half. And again, we were standing around the batting cage today, and the wind was really howling out towards left field. Just get it up in the air, and you've got a chance.
Johnny Damon takes a strike. Change up, it's 0-2. Damon now 4 for 16 against Brandon Morrow. I mentioned he homered against Morrow earlier this season. Breaking ball pulled foul. Boy, Tampa Bay in their 4 games against the Tigers scored a total of 6 runs in those 4 games. So far in this series, they have scored 17.
It's a loose bunch. They didn't take batting practice today. They just hit down in the cages this morning. Joe Maddon was telling me this morning that he said, you know, I want to get my players off their feet, especially on this AstroTurf. It can really wear you down as you're getting close to heading into September. You don't need to hit every single day. And it certainly seems to have helped them. 5-0.
Save your swings for the ball game. 0-2, 2 outs. Damon strikes out. Morrow buries a slider down and in. That's the 3rd strikeout for Brandon Morrow, but he's given up 3 home runs. Tampa Bay with a 5-0 lead early. Prizes from Sharp, including Canada's largest LCD TV, a 70-inch Sharp Aquos. Enter online and hit a home run with Sharp.ca. Sharp makes bigger better. The Blue Jays have a deep hole to dig out of against one of the toughest left-handers in all of baseball. Kelly Johnson will try to get things going here in the second. 117 games combined between the Diamondbacks and Blue Jays. Johnson, over the course of the season, has hit .210, 18 homers. Last year in his first season with the Diamondbacks, he had 26 home runs. Brandon Morrow looks to be stunned with a start that he's had against Tampa Bay.
I think he started with that ball that JOYCE hit down the left field line. Tried to throw a curveball to him. He stuck his bat out and hit it down the left field line, and after that, a couple of home runs. It is a stunner.
Kelly Johnson, 2 for 9 since the trade from Tampa Bay. He's been on base with 3 walks. 3-pitch strikeout. That's 4 in a row now by David Price.
Well, what you don't want to have him do is start to get into that mindset of I can throw the ball by you. Fastball in the outer half. He's got very good control for a big man who throws hard. When he wants to throw it away to a lefty, he's got that ability. Throw it away to a right-hander. Throw upstairs. All 4 quadrants of the strike zone.
Brett LAWRIE. LAWRIE was 1 for 4 in yesterday's game with his 4th triple of the season. Also scored a run. There's a changeup down and away. That evens the count at a ball on the strike.
And he almost made the play of the year for the Blue Jays at third base.
Kelly Shopik tried to put down a sacrifice bunt. It was almost turned into a triple play.
I asked him if he made the tag, and he said, you know, I just didn't get my hand down quick enough because Rodriguez had really had a hook slide where his arm was just out of his reach, but it would have been one of the best plays I've ever seen.
And it all was because of his quick reaction on the initial bunt. He got back to third. The throw from the pitcher was high, but he was anchored at third, so he made the catch through to first for the double play and then was standing at third for the return throw. Strike 3 call right on the corner outside. You can see David Price feels it. 5 straight strikeouts for Price.
Yeah, it looked like the cutter, slider, whatever you want to call it. Watch how he wraps and then attacks that outside corner and gets enough of it. But LAWRIE can't believe it, but that looked like a good pitch.
Well, we talked about it at the start of the show, how David Price is going to work you away. He's going to work you with changeups, fastballs, and cutters on that outside corner. And he's going to stay there until you hit him.
Right. And the thing about him is he maintains it, too. It's the second inning, and he's throwing 95 miles an hour. If he stays around long enough, he'll be doing it later in the game.
Jose Molina is the DH this afternoon. Molina hitting .296 for the season. He's 3 for 9 against David Price, and he got the nod. Another right-handed bat in the lineup.
Against Price, I think you have to throw as many right-handers in that lineup as possible. He really negates the lefties. Just a 179 batting average against Price for the left-handers.
Now, body language is important, and you can see David Price feels pretty good. Gets that ball back from the catcher and is looking for that next sign. Molina got a piece of it. We talked about strikeouts being a factor in today's game. Both Brandon Morrow and David Price are in the top 10 in the American League in strikeouts.
They're both in the top 10 in strikeouts per 9 innings, with Morrow leading. Morrow averaging over 10 strikeouts per 9, and David Price right up there also.
8.3 strikeouts per 9 innings for David Price. Full count, 2 outs. Price stepped off the rover. You could see him almost mouthing, "Come on, give me the right pitch."
So you're not standing out there too long.
Breaking ball, that's drilled into right field. Molina gets the first base hit of the game against David Price, and that snaps a string of 5 straight strikeouts.
We were standing around the cage today and we said, Jose, you're the DH today. A lot of fastballs today because you're a good fastball hitter. So what does he do? He inside outs a slider. Breaking ball for the Blue Jays' first hit.
Eric Thames drops down into the 8th spot. Thames had 2 hits and 4 trips yesterday, batting second. Thames hit his 9th home run of the season in the 8th inning against the left-hander Jake McGee. It was a very good at-bat. He fouled off several pitches, worked the count full, and then hit one out to right.
He has shown that he can get the barrel of the bat to the ball on the inner half. A lot of young players, when they come up, they go around the ball and they end up hooking that ball foul. That pitch yesterday was in and hard, and he was able to keep it fair.
He's held his own against left-handed pitching this season, and he's hit .275 against lefties and has 3 homers. Pretty respectable for a rookie.
And you look at some of the guys that he has hit home runs off of this year. The Cliff Lee home run comes to mind. That's off a pretty decent left-hander. Jake McGee yesterday.
The other one, I believe, was Paul Mahalam with the Pirates. He had an opposite field home run in interleague play. 2-2, 2 outs. Pops this one back over the Blue Jays dugout and out of play.
Watch how Eric Thames is able to get to this inside pitch and keep it fair because he pulls his hands in. The barrel doesn't go very far from his body. And that's a good piece of hitting against a very hard-throwing left-handed pitcher.
Strike 3 call, 96 at the knees on the outside corner. So for his 2nd consecutive inning, David Price strikes out the side. Through 2 complete innings, Price has 6 strikeouts and a 5-run lead. Baseball, 19-9 in the last 28 games, and the offense is the reason they've turned it around. They've hit just .253, but they're scoring plenty of runs for their very effective pitching staff.
Yeah, if you pitch the way that they can pitch, you don't have to score a ton of runs to win, and they're scoring enough, averaging almost 5 runs a game and starting to hit some home runs. 35 in those 27 games. The run differential of +41. That's always a very interesting number, that run differential. I was looking at it last night for the New York Yankees because I think their offense is pretty good, and they're going to be battling Boston the rest of the way. Their run differential heading into today, 191.
They have scored 191 more runs than they've allowed, and that's really interesting because you look at the Yankees, you think they're all about offense and not much pitching, but they're pitching a lot better than you think. So it's high and popped out of play. When you look at the Yankees, they're third in the American League in pitching. They've got a 3.69 ERA. They trail only the Angels in Tampa Bay. And we all know what they can do offensively. They have scored 711 runs, and second only to Boston.
They have gotten some good years from some unexpected pitchers this year. Bartolo Colon's gotten off to a great start. He's throwing the ball well. Freddie Garcia. Ivan Nova has thrown the ball really well. Everybody knows about CC Sabathia. The guy who's a mystery right now is A.J. Burnett.
Breaking ball, Longoria lays off. I don't think he's a mystery. I think he's just been disappointing. I mean, they know what he's doing.
Yeah, I guess it's not a mystery.
Unfortunately, they have seen the numbers, and it's right there in front of them. Longoria base hit to center field. That's the first hit for Longoria this afternoon.
Tried to sneak a breaking ball by Longoria, but it's up. Doesn't look like the slider. That looked like it might have been the curveball, the way it spun up there. Not that hard slider that he throws.
Leadoff man's aboard. Ben Zobrist struck out to end the first inning. Goes after the first pitch and fouls it down the left side. Getting back to the Yankees and their pitching, you look at CC Sabathia, he's 17-7. Freddie Garcia is 10-7. Ivan Nova's 13-4. But then Colon's got 8 wins. He's 8-8. A.J. Burnett's 9-11, and Phil Hughes, who they count on a lot, is just 4-4. But they're still 78-51.
I think their bullpen is a lot better than people think. They really went out to try and fortify their bullpen last year, so their starters didn't have to go that deep. And it's a good one.
Their bullpen ERA as a team is 3.04. Pretty impressive when they reside in the American League East. Zobrist pulls it foul. Tampa Bay trying to work their way into the playoff picture. After this game this afternoon, they'll have 29 games left. They have 4 more games with the Blue Jays. They play Baltimore 12 times, Boston 11 times. And they play the Yankees. It's popped up. LAWRIE over, and that one's out of play. Let me restate that. They have a 6-5 record against Boston for the season. They have 7 more games with Boston and 6 more games with the Yankees. And they'll play the Blue Jays 4 more games after this afternoon.
Joe Maddon was saying the other day that he doesn't worry about the other teams in his division. He says, you know, the only thing that we can control is what we do on the field that day. So he is more concerned about his team playing well than what those other teams are doing at the moment.
Zobrist strikes out for a second time. That pitch was down and away. Morrow has his 4th.
Looked like he took something off of that one, and it dives down and away. That's a good looking pitch right there to a left-hander. You know, if you just worry about what you do and take care of your business, the whole thing's going to come out of the wash. If you start thinking about what this team's doing, or what we've got this schedule coming up when we get home, or we got to go on the road and play these, that's when you start messing everything up. Tampa does a good job of focusing on what they have to do today to win a ball game.
And Joe Maddon's responsible for that. I mean, he has such a laid-back attitude. He doesn't have a whole lot of rules. His players kind of do whatever they want until they step onto the field. And then he demands they do everything focused on winning and nothing else. Aaron Sebia snap throw, and Longoria gets back. But Joe Maddon this morning in the dugout admitted that he checks the scoreboard. He said, oh, yeah, I look at the scoreboard. He said, sometimes during the course of the day, I'll look up to see what those teams are doing. Certainly at night, he said, I get on my computer and I'll check them out. And he admitted that he is looking at the Texas Rangers, seeing what they're doing, because they will play the Rangers next. Ball in the strike. Casey Kochman, the first baseman. Another off-speed pitch.
That's the one pitch that Brandon Morrow felt that he needed to improve right there, the changeup. Everything that comes out of his hand is hard. Hard fastball, hard slider. He needs something to get the batters off of that type of pitch, and that changeup might be the answer.
Came back with a fastball and strikes out Casey Kochman. That's 5 strikeouts for Morrow.
You know, if you show that you can throw that changeup for a strike, you can lock up hitters with a fastball then. About 93 miles an hour right at the knees, and Kochman can't pull the string.
We mentioned strikeouts might be a factor in this game today. Certainly have proven to be early already. 11 strikeouts in this game. B.J. Upton walked and came around to score. He walked with 1 out, and that was a big walk because Upton hasn't managed many hits against Morrow. Only 1 hit in 13 at bats.
And Brandon was ahead of him too. 2 strikes and then lost him.
Out in front of that fastball. You know, we always talk about walks being a big problem for pitchers. They come around to score often. The Blue Jays, they have their share of walks, but they've only allowed 22.6% of those walks to score. And that's because they have strikeout pitchers. Even when you walk a batter or 2, you can get yourself out of a situation with the strikeouts. Certainly Brandon Morrow is capable of doing that. Missed with that changeup. The highest percentage of walks by a pitcher that come around to score this season, the Seattle Mariners, which kind of surprises me with the power pitcher that they have. But 26% of the walks score. There's a base hit skipped off the mound into center field for Upton.
Maybe they just walk more players, the Seattle Mariners, than the Blue Jays.
That's just the percentage of the walks that score, and they just don't have that strikeout ability to strand them. Matt Joyce was a strikeout victim his first time. 2 on, 2 outs, Tampa Bay with a 5-0 lead. They have 6 hits against Brandon Morrow. Changeup tapped back to the mound. Morrow gets out of it. Joyce is retired. Tampa Bay leads 2, but they have a 5-0 lead. guests of the Children's Aid Foundation. Enjoying a comfortable day here at Rogers Center. Overcast, cool afternoon, and so far they have been entertained by a whole lot of strikeouts. 11 strikeouts combined between David Price and Brandon Morrow, and that hasn't really impressed that young fella.
Good night.
Yep. Not much going on for me, Mom. I'm going to take a little break.
Strikeouts are boring.
JP Arencibia will step in and face his former battery mate. Price and Arencibia played together on Team USA. They also faced each other in college. JP Arencibia, University of Tennessee. David Price at Vanderbilt University.
The SEC going at each other.
Good fastball downstairs. It's 0-2. We often talk about power against power, and the pitcher's always going to win that battle when he locates. I don't care how hard you throw. Boy, that ball exploded. Looked like it started inside and just worked its way right over the heart of the plate. One out here in the third. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Joey Votto hitting that home run off Jordan Zimmerman. Cincinnati's had a disappointing finish to their season. They were in great shape around the All-Star break and just faded out of contention.
We kept hearing their names everywhere about them trying to make a deal to get a pitcher, maybe an extra bat, stuff like that. Didn't happen, and paying the price for it right now.
0-2. Been saying that a lot this afternoon. Price has pitched a hit early on in this game. Well, there's that cut fastball. It starts off the plate, just enough movement to take it back to the outside corner. Price having some trouble with dirt in his eyes. That wind is swirling around on the playing surface here at Rogers Center. Bounce to second. Big hop for Zobrist. 2 down. Escobar, you now struck out in his first at bat. Makes the first pitch strike. That's a changeup right there. It's 86 miles an hour. But you can see he's got a little bit of a dive right at the end.
And it's got a little bit of something different than all the hard stuff that he can throw up there.
He came back with the same pitch. Maybe a cutter that time, but he is ahead again. 0-2. And then runs that fastball right in on the hands of Escobar. Strike 3 call. Fastball at the knees. 96. That's 8 strikeouts for Yunel Escobar. Got a few words for Jeff Nelson, but Nelson walks away. We have played 3 complete here at Rogers Center. David Price in total command.
brought to you by your local independently owned home hardware or home hardware building center. Homeowners helping homeowners.
Back here at Rogers Center with the CN Tower high above, and those people just strap themselves to that outside walkway, and I don't know why you would do that. Just to mess up a regular Sunday afternoon. And believe me, folks, they have to pay to do that.
They're not getting paid to do that?
Oh. John Jaso fouls it off. It's a ball and a strike. Jaso starting things off here in the fourth. Jaso had an RBI double with 2 outs in the second. Got a breaking ball with 2 strikes and just slapped it inside the bag at third.
You know, I like what Brandon Morrow's starting to do the last couple of innings. You see it. Starting to take a little something off of his pitches, trying to use his changeup just a little bit more, sink the ball. He's already at 64 pitches. He needs some quick innings.
Boy, you and I both looked at each other after that last changeup, because Morrow's had trouble softening his changeup, and today we've seen that. One thing you have to remember with Morrow, this is just his 65th career start. He's still learning about himself, learning what he needs to do to pitch. There's a fastball, and just a 89-mile-an-hour fastball for a strike. On any given day, Morrow has the capability of striking out 15 and pitching a complete game. This ball is popped up and playable. Brett LAWRIE inside the left field line makes the catch. 1 down. But Morrow, like so many younger pitchers, doesn't go out there every single day when everything's perfect. Rarely do pitchers do that. Maybe 5-6 times in the course of 32 starts a year. But he has to get to the point where he can figure out what he needs to do to pitch when everything isn't working.
Find that one pitch that you're hitting on and then keep throwing it until that batter shows that he can't hit it.
Sean Rodriguez homered in his first at bat.
And that's the optimum word when you're talking about that pitching. Find that pitch. You got to learn how to pitch. You can tell right away when Brandon Morrow's got his A game. First inning, bam, fastball here, bam, fastball there, slider for strikeouts. I mean, you can tell. And for the most part, he can maintain it throughout the game. But you're not going to be like that all the time.
Brett LAWRIE comes after it and throws a low throw, and Edwin Encarnacion picks him up. LAWRIE got a little stagnant in his momentum toward first and threw a ball in the dirt.
Teach him all the time to keep your feet moving, just keep moving towards the bag. That time it looked like he short-armed a little bit. You're not going to throw the ball over there perfectly all the time, and that's why you need a good first baseman to dig it out for you.
Edwin's done a good job in second half playing defense. Worked hard at both third base and first base. Top of the order, Desmond Jennings has homered in each of his first 2 at-bats. Good-looking young player. Joe Madden, talking about Jennings, said some things that we have said about Brett LAWRIE. Said Jennings sees things that other people don't see. He sees things on the field. He knows where to throw the ball. He's very aware at the plate. We saw him when he made his debut last year, and he was very patient. Took a lot of close pitches.
You could tell that he was a very raw baseball player. The talent obviously is there. Good things are going to come from this kid, but he just has to play more baseball.
Grew up as a high school football player, went to junior college and played football as a wide receiver. But he's one of those gifted athletes that not only is blessed with physical tools, but also an instinct about the game.
That's what I love about players like that is they can learn on the job. And you can see him getting better from pitch to pitch. Here's an inside fastball. He doesn't miss this one. It's a very level swing. Hits it over the wall in left field. Second inning, same type of pitch on the inner half and up, and he stays right with it. No doubt about that one to left field.
And here he takes the walk. Second walk issued by Brandon Morrow.
Power and speed, that's what this game is all about. And when you have athletes like Desmond Jennings, Carl Crawford, B.J. Upton, those are the great athletes that this organization has had through the years. You can do so many things.
Johnny Damon, 0 for 2 so far this afternoon. Ground out and a strikeout.
On top of the great power that Jennings has been showing, he's also been showing some speed too. 13 stolen bases since he's been called up.
Just foul outside the right field foul line. Joe Madden was talking about how the game is turning back to the two-way athlete. Guy that can play defense, can hit. I mean, for a long time we had a one-dimensional game where it was all about power and home runs. You had big sluggers that were out in the outfield that couldn't play defense. Now the speed has been emphasized once again, both offensively and defensively.
It's a better game too. I mean, you actually play the game of baseball instead of just sitting back and just trying to launch balls out of the ballpark. You can do different things that are exciting.
1-2, 2 outs. In the dirt, and Desmond Jennings got a great jump. Boy, he read that perfectly. Bill Welke at second calls Jennings safe, and what a aggressive slide into second.
It's a ball in the dirt. Watch Jennings at first base. He sees it's in the dirt. It's not a delayed steal. I think he actually saw that that ball was in front of J.P. Arancibia, and he grabs it on the short hop, but the speed just doesn't allow him to get it.
2-2, 2 outs. Jennings is given a stolen base on that. And Arancibia dug the ball out of the dirt. Full count, 2 outs. Kelly Johnson bobbles it, and now he has to look at third. That's an error on Kelly Johnson, his first since coming to the Blue Jays. Johnny Damon runs, and Kelly Johnson was aware of that. He rushed his transfer and bobbled the ball.
They don't take anything for granted. They run everything out hard. That last hop comes up just so much on Johnson, and he handcuffs him as he catches the ball right off the heel of his glove. And that allowed Damon at first base and keep the inning going for Evan Longoria.
Longoria singled to center in third. Boy, those errors prolong the inning and force Brandon Morrow to throw a few more pitches. This is popped up into center. Mike McCoy is there. Longoria is retired. Tampa Bay leaves 2. Brandon Morrow gets out of the 4th. tonight, someone will win a 40-inch Aquos Quattron TV and Blu-ray player. To enter, visit hitahomerunwithsharp.ca. Sharp Aquos makes bigger, better. Blue Jays have some home run hitters coming to the plate in the fourth. Jose Bautista leads the majors in home runs with 37. Edwin Encarnacion has 14. It'll be Bautista, Encarnacion, and Kelly Johnson. Johnson hit 18 with the Tampa Bay Diamondbacks before the trade.
First of all, they have to figure out David Price. He has been throwing strikes. He's kept the ball down. And home plate umpire Jeff Nelson has been calling that low strike all afternoon.
What would you do in a situation like this if you were batting against David Price?
Swing. Swing off. He's around the plate. He's going to challenge you. If you make an out by swinging at the first pitch, so what? You know, you could very easily get a base hit. I think you have to be aggressive and just try and knock him out of the ball game.
Fouled off. 0-2. Price has been 0-2 all afternoon. Has 8 strikeouts through 3 innings. Strike 3 call. 95 and explosive. I mean, it has a finish to it.
Yeah, it's really getting on top of the Blue Jay batters, and they just can't pull the trigger. This is a fastball that's right down the middle, and it's by them. I don't know if they're not picking the ball up or if they just can't see the ball. 9 strikeouts out of the 10 outs recorded today.
Mike McCoy grounded out to the second baseman in the 3rd inning. Everything else has been a strikeout. Edwin Encarnacion goes after that first pitch, but I agree with you. You know, Price has been around the plate. Go up there with that mentality, you're going to swing. Not the Blue Jays haven't. There's a base hit into center field. Encarnacion had his mind set on swinging.
You know, there's no sense waiting around, falling behind 0-2, and then trying to swing. Get him early. Encarnacion swung at the first pitch, fouled that one off, and then looked like Price tried to go away. Good plate coverage by Edwin to pick up Jay's second hit of the afternoon. Look where this pitch is. It's actually off the plate. With Encarnacion with plate coverage, can reach it.
Kelly Johnson picks a pitch upstairs. One of the few times David Price has fallen behind.
See what he can do when he's in the stretch now. I'll tell you. Left-handers, right-handers, it doesn't matter.
Ball and a strike. And you see David Price and the way he is dominant. You can see 10 career starts against the Blue Jays. At Rogers Center, 2-0, 3.5 runs higher ERA in this ballpark, and Blue Jays have hit him well here. Yeah, that's not the case today.
Not this afternoon. Just a couple of hits and all the strikeouts. 95 miles an hour. Again, I don't know if they're looking for something else, thinking he's going to throw something, but the ball's been by him.
I just think it's got that explosive finish to it. It just looks like even Jaso's reacting to it late, just before he catches it. I mean, you and I know 95, 96 is not your pedestrian fastball. But especially even the pitch on Bautista, when Jaso sat up inside, that ball kind of exploded over the inner half of the plate. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Blue Jays trying to string together something against David Price, and managed just 2 hits and a walk. We're talking about some very good fastball hitters in this lineup. Kelly Johnson's a great fastball hitter. Of course, Jose Bautista, one of the best in the game. Escobar's a good fastball hitter. Brett Lawrie's a good fastball hitter.
Right now, surprised by that fastball from David Price.
Strike 3 call. Strikeout number 10 for David Price.
When you show that you're going to be around the plate like Price has, you're going to get that borderline pitch that's off the plate.
That one looked to be off the plate, but then when you look at it overhead, it looked like it might have caught that front edge.
That's the borderline, and he's going to get that every time when he keeps showing him that he can throw it there.
Brett Lawrie hits it off the end of the bat. Brett Lawrie was ahead of that 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Brett Lawrie used that cup bat. They cup out the end of the bat to lower the balance point of the bat and reduce some of the weight. So he hit that right off that cup, and it just chipped the barrel of that bat. We're in the 4th inning. Tampa Bay has hit 3 home runs in this game. Desmond Jennings with a pair of solo home runs. Sean Rodriguez a 2-run home run. Changeup downstairs. 2-1.
Now this should be fun right here. 2-1. You got to figure that David Price is going to challenge him right here. Fastball. Brett Lawrie might be wound up to hit this one.
He was, but it was outside. Price has 10 strikeouts with 2 outs in the 4th. The Rays franchise record in strikeouts is 13. Scott Kazmir did it in August of '07 against Oakland. James Shields tied that this July 22nd against the Marlins. 13 strikeouts.
Price has had double digits now 5 times this year. His season high was 12 versus the Reds back on June the 28th. James Shields had 12 in the first game in this series.
Price has now had 8 games with 10 or more strikeouts in his career. 3-2, 2 outs. There goes Encarnacion. This ball is popped up. Zobrist battling that haze and sun, stays with it. Laurie's retired. We have played 4 complete here at Rogers Center. Tampa Bay with a 5-0 lead. Now it's time for a connected update. Here's Jamie and Greg live in the Blackberry broadcast studio here at Rogers Center. Saturdays when kids get 50% off tickets. The next Junior Jays Saturday is September 10th. Blue Jays will welcome in the Orioles. It's a 1:07 p.m. start. Kids 14 and under receive 50% off tickets to all Saturday home games. 200 outfield and 500 level seats only. Call the Blue Jays for tickets directly at 416-341-1234. Log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations.
And congratulations to the Langley Majors there.
Just fresh off the Little League World Series representing Canada. A trip to Williamsport, and they have been honored here at Rogers Center. The Langley Majors, Little League team from Langley, BC, they got to be introduced on the field, and just before the start of the game, Brett LAWRIE went over and said hello and made sure he acknowledged all of the young Little Leaguers from Langley. Of course, that's the home of Brett LAWRIE, so he was keeping his eye on them throughout the Little League World Series. Casey Kochman 0 for 2 so far. Boy, that changeup has been good. And you know what? In a day like today, Brandon Morrow's trying to glean some bright spot out of an outing, and it has certainly been the changeup.
Yeah, it certainly has. To the left-handed batters. He has done a good job about that. We talked at the beginning of this game how Morrow's had some great individual success against Tampa Bay, the big 17 strikeout game. He had 10 strikeouts today. They've made the adjustments to him, and now he's trying to make adjustments back to them by softening up what he throws towards home plate. Still has that right there, a good hard fastball. But Tampa certainly has made a change.
Well, and the one thing, too, we see it with David Price. It's not just strictly fastballs. It's changeups and cutters and moving fastballs. And you can't go out there and throw a straight fastball and be successful. That ball might have hit Kochman. Certainly didn't sound like would. And he's going to go to first. And you can see the umpire, Jeff Nelson, indicating to Wakamatsu, and now Don's going to come out of the dugout and say, wait a minute, now you're going to tell me. Remember, we had a similar situation with John Jaso on Friday night. That looked like it hit the barrel of the bat. Watch where the ball hits the bat, way up on the barrel.
Yeah.
Of course, the umpire, he can only go by what he hears, and then he said, well, it hit him on the hand, and it didn't appear to be close to his hand. But then again, we have the advantage of slow motion and instant replay. It was a very muffled sound. I think that's why the umpire probably felt it hit him. But watch where the ball hits the bat. Clearly on the barrel of the bat, not close to his hands. Is that the way you saw it?
That's exactly how I saw it. It didn't sound like it sounded like it might have hit his hand.
Yeah, I think that's what Nelson reacted to, was the muffled sound of the contact.
I think it was off the end of the bat, so it sounded more like a scrape. Blue Jays just can't win those.
John Jaso was hit on the elbow on Friday night in the third inning. And initially, the home plate umpire, Bill Welke, called it a foul ball. Boy, there's a broken bat pop-up. See, Johnson, he's dealing with the haze. The sun is not bright, but you look through that haze, and all the defenders have had trouble when they looked up the pop-ups. JP Arancibia lost one over by the dugout earlier.
He has sunglasses, but it's tough to put those on and then look up into the sky. You probably can't pick up the ball if you've got the glasses on during the pitch. Upton doesn't really know where the ball is. There's the barrel taken off.
See, the sun just piercing through the haze, and it's really a challenge. It's been a challenge all afternoon for the fielders. Matt Joyce is 0 for 2. 2 outs. Kochman at first. Popped up. LAWRIE retreating into the outfield, makes the catch. Tampa Bay strands another base runner. Blue Jays got to figure out how to get to David Price. Struck out the side, and that set the tone for the afternoon.
First 7 outs of this game recorded via the strikeout from David Price. He's carving up the corners. He is throwing that fastball where he wants to this afternoon. He's also mixing in a little bit of a changeup. All told for David Price, 10 strikeouts through 4 innings.
Second time in Price's career that he's recorded 10 strikeouts against the Blue Jays. May 5th this season, he had a 10 strikeout game at 8 2/3. He held the Blue Jays to 4 hits in that game. Jose Molina snapped a streak of 5 consecutive strikeouts with his 2-out single in the second.
There's one bad thing about all these type of strikeouts. Runs up the pitch count. And Joe Maddon would gladly turn in a couple of quick innings for Price to keep him in the game just a little bit longer.
David Price now has thrown 71 pitches, and he is just in the 5th inning. The most pitches he has thrown this season, 121, against the Red Sox on the 15th of July. Well, he's had trouble with the wind all day long, although you wouldn't know it with the strikeouts, but it is very breezy down on the surface of the field. And he's battled stuff in his eye all afternoon.
Just have to look at his uniform when he stands on the mound looking in. It's waving all over the place. His pants and his shirt.
Molina can't believe that was strike 3. Dropped his bat, goes back and picks it up. That's 11 strikeouts, and he has a few words for Jeff Nelson.
It's that last few feet of his fastball that is really exploding towards home plate. I don't think this is a bad pitch. I think it's right there.
Price has been around the plate all afternoon. Several times he's gone 0-2. There's a rare curveball from Price. Falls behind Eric Thames. Hits it to the first baseman. Kotzman's an outstanding fielder and flips it to Price. 2 down.
You know, I'll say one thing about David Price. He's throwing a lot of fastballs today, so he can throw 120 or 130 pitches this afternoon. Fastball doesn't take a lot out of your arm. Not when you're built like he is with long arms and long legs. It's when you're starting to throw a lot of breaking balls and you get that torque in your pitches that starts taking its toll on your arm.
It'll be interesting to see how Joe Maddon handles David Price's outing here over the course of this game. JP Arencibia takes the first pitch changeup. I'm telling you what, his location has been exceptional all day long. First pitch changeup, then paints down and away at 95.
Just dialed in. Last time he cut that fastball in the outer corner. There it is.
3-pitch strikeout. Reach back for a little extra. He strikes out JP Arencibia with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. This strikeout number 12. That high ties David Price's career strikeout total. .ca/magazine. Great articles, great writing, and great photography. So make sure you sign up early and get your copy of Sportsnet magazine. Brandon Morrow back out for the 6th. John Jaso, the catcher, will start things off. Jaso and Kelly Shopik are splitting the time. Jaso was on a disabled list at the time. Robinson Chirinos came up and filled in, did a pretty good job in his first time in the big leagues.
Got some big hits against the Blue Jays when we were down there beginning of this month. Had a walk-off hit, if I remember, Chirinos.
Another good changeup. You can see how that changeup has really kept the hitters off stride. Something that came around about the 3rd inning this afternoon. And the slider fouled off. One and two. Up and away. Mentioned Chirinos. He had an RBI pinch hit base hit in the 11th to tie the game, and then won the 12th with a walk-off base hit. Change up, down and away, full count.
I'm sure we'll see him the next time we face the Tampa Bay Rays at the end of the season, after the rosters expand just a little bit.
popped back out of play.
This is what John Jaso can do at the plate. Drive you crazy. Doesn't have the best batting average at 223, but he can see a lot of pitches, work the count. Last year, Joe Maddon had him lead off a number of times for this reason alone, just so he can see a lot of pitches.
Pops this one up into left. Thames is there. One out.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Sixth inning here at Rogers Center. Tampa Bay scored 1 in the first and 4 in the second. They lead 5-0. Sean Rodriguez, part of that 4-run second inning, hit a 2-run home run with 2 outs. Fouled out of play. Looked like another changeup that Morrow got underneath that. Two and two. Brandon Morrow has thrown 107 pitches now, and Rami Lewis appears to be ready down in the bullpen.
He got up when this inning started, just in case Brandon Morrow ran into some trouble. Got a couple of guys on. Wakamatsu got him up and got him ready.
Blue Jays are a little concerned about the innings they have available. Jesse Litch has pitched in 3 of the last 4 games, a total of 59 pitches. And he's just learning his new role in that bullpen.
He is unavailable. Casey Jansen is available, but just for an inning. Same with Frank Francisco. I saw Sean Camp in yesterday's game.
Camp threw 14 pitches in his inning of work. Jansen threw an inning and a third. Francisco threw just 9, but obviously he's the guy they'd like to keep fresh for a possible save situation. John Roush threw a side session today in his efforts to get healthy and get back off the DL. Another high drive, this one deep down the left side, and that wind is bringing it back toward the field. You can see Eric Thames was aware that that wind might bring it back into fair territory. He was right there at the wall, but it's just a couple of rows back.
Yeah, he didn't give up on it. Stay right with that one. Try and record the out. It's been a good at bat for Sean Rodriguez.
Stays on that changeup, fouls off another pitch. We mentioned Kochman's ties with the Angels and Joe Maddon. Rodriguez has those same ties. He came through the Angels minor league system. And he works a walk out of Morrow. With 1 on and 1 out, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. line with Jay's Game Zone and chat live with Sportsnet personalities Shai Davidi and Mike Wilner, all on sportsnet.ca. And if you were logged on right now, you could ask them about Rami Lewis and his run through AAA Las Vegas. Rami Lewis has entered the game in relief of Brandon Morrow.
This is the third game for Rami Lewis since being recalled by the Blue Jays. That was on August the 16th. That was at Oakland. Giving up a couple of hits, one of those being a home run to Willingham. Rami Lewis pitched in 14 games for the Blue Jays last year. Spent the whole season down in AAA since being recalled a couple of weeks ago.
Desmond Jennings has had a perfect day at the plate. 2 solo home runs and a walk. He's also added a stolen base. John Rodriguez, he's an aggressive base runner. 10 steals. He's been caught 6 times. He went first to third on that bunt by Kelly Shopik that the Blue Jays turned into a double play. Then he was thrown out trying to advance on an error by Casey Jansen on a pickoff throw. Rodriguez was thrown out by the right fielder Jose Bautista in the 7th inning of yesterday's game.
And they have no problem with him being that type of aggressive. That's what they have to do. It's a mindset.
Two and one. Well, that's the way that the Rays score their runs. They run the bases very aggressively. There's a strike, 2-2. We mentioned in yesterday's 6-5 win, the 5 through 9 batters in the lineup went 9 for 19. They had a home run, they had a double, and they drove in all 6 runs of the game. Bottom part of the order.
I think they might have been listening to us at the beginning of the game yesterday when we were talking about the bottom of the order. You know, the batting averages coming into the game yesterday weren't very good, but they sure produced.
B.J. Upton 223, Sean Rodriguez 212, Kelly Shopik 177, Elliott Johnson 180, and Reed Brignac 192. And they turned it into a big day offensively. 3-2, 1 out. There goes Rodriguez, bouncing ball. LAWRIE thought about second, now goes to first, and that cost him. Brett LAWRIE looked up and thought about going to second base, and that hesitation allowed Desmond Jennings to run. Once again, you got to remember who the batter is.
Yeah, it's all it takes is just one quick look to second base. And a player like Desmond Jennings going to get down that line and beat it out. He thought about getting that lead runner, but with Rodriguez breaking on the pitch, no chance to get him. And by the time he was able to square up to first base, throw it across the diamond, Jennings is going to beat out for another hit.
Third hit of the day for Desmond Jennings, and that reflects his physical talents. 2 home runs and an infield hit with his speed. Johnny Damon reached on an error his last time up. He's 0 for 3. Two and 0. Rami Lewis pitched in 14 games last year with the Jays. Did not have a decision nor a save.
Went on the disabled list on September the 15th with some left shoulder inflammation and missed the rest of the season. Been a reliever for the most part in his career. Originally selected by the Baltimore Orioles. He was a 5th round draft pick back in June of 2001. He was signed by the Blue Jays right before spring training in 2009 and has pitched for the Blue Jays basically in the minor league system the last couple of years. All out of the bullpen.
There's a sinking fastball down and in. Johnny Damon swung right over the top of it. Rami Lewis this year in AAA pitched in 42 games. Went 3-3 and had 4 saves. Popped up over near the Blue Jays dugout and bounced off the warning track. Top of the 6th inning. The Rays threatening to add to their lead. They scored early. First pitch of the ball game, Desmond Jennings hit a solo home run. Johnny Damon, with that unorthodox swing, can spoil some good pitches.
He's going to take that unorthodox swing right to the Hall of Fame, I think, someday. I'll tell you, you look like you've beaten him with a fastball or a breaking ball. He hits from an open stance. He starts towards first base, but he gets good wood on the ball. Johnny Damon's got some milestones coming up that he is going to reach. Doubles, hits.
2-2. Waves at it, strikes out. Rami Lewis strikes out Johnny Damon with a slow breaking ball down and away.
That's where Rami Lewis needs to be. Down. Got a good fastball and a breaking ball. Basically a 2-pitch pitcher, but he needs to stay down and throw quality pitches. That was a quality one there.
Evan Longoria, third baseman, has gone 1 for 3. Longoria has faced Lewis in the past. He's 0 for 1, their only matchup. Popped out of play. Lewis is ahead. Blue Jays just have to continue to put zeros up on the board and see if they can't figure something out to get to David Price. Tampa Bay hasn't scored since the 2nd. Popped up. LAWRIE at third base. Longoria's retired. Tampa Bay leaves 2 more base runners. David Price has tied his career high with 12 strikeouts this afternoon. Tigers has been a very good pitcher, but look what he's done against the AL East, arguably the best division in baseball.
Yeah, best, and he's 22-7, and I think that goes back to that, what we were talking about in the scouting report. He puts his game face on, and when he faces the best, he just ratchets it up a notch. There's only 5 teams in the American League who have a winning record against the East, and with Price doing what he does, Tampa's one of those teams against the East this year.
Today he's had a great 5 innings beginning his start. He has tied his career high. Second time this season he has registered 12 strikeouts. Previous game was the 27th of May. Had 12 strikeouts in 7 innings against Cleveland. Mike McCoy has not struck out. He's walked and grounded out. Something off that pitch, down and away. Ball and a strike.
He's been pitching like this the whole month of August. Although his record's just 2-2, he's only given up a few runs. They just haven't been able to score any runs for him. In his 2 losses this month, the Rays have only been able to score 1 run for David Price. Is that a good month?
Upstairs, 3-1. To give you an idea and put this performance by Price in proper perspective, the major league record for strikeouts is 20. Roger Clemens has 20 strikeouts twice. Kerry Wood struck out 20 when he was with the Cubs. And McCoy will take the walk. He has reached Clemens' strikeout total against Seattle in his first 20 strikeout game. He had 11 strikeouts through 5. Price had 12 through 5 here this afternoon. Clemens in '96 in his second 20 strikeout game against the Tigers had 12 strikeouts through 5. Kerry Wood struck out 20 Houston Astros. He had 11 strikeouts through 5. The difference I see in all 3 of those games, Price later in the season. Clemens' second strikeout game came on the 18th of September. But both his first strikeout game was an April strikeout game, and Kerry Woods came in May, early in the season, before you're worried about wearing down a starter.
Yeah, you can give him a day off here or there.
Escobar into right field. Joyce backs up, makes the catch. With 1 out, let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Brad Penny is on the mound for Detroit. He was the pitcher David Price lost to last time out in a 2-1 Tiger win. Bautista goes after the first pitch and fouls it back.
Those numbers you were just talking about with Clemens and Wood, has the game changed so much that they would take David Price out just to save his arm?
Oh, I think so.
I do too.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're going to let him pitch deep into this game as long as they have a comfortable lead. They have bigger fish to fry than a strikeout record.
Right. That's my thought. Back when Roger Clemens did it back in the day, they didn't have the specialization like they do today in the bullpens. Plus, this team is trying to get into the playoffs.
Popped up into center field, and B.J. Upton over in the alley makes the catch. Oh, I think you make a great point. Plus the fact that Clemens' first 20 strikeout game was April 29th. Early in the season, he was fresh, he was cool. His second strikeout game was September 18th in '96 against the Tigers. But Kerry Woods, his 2 was in May.
In May. And you can find the off days here or there to give them that time. Tampa Bay is going to make some noise, or hoping to make some noise in the month of September. And they're going to need this big guy.
Yeah, and I just think given where they are and how they have to be so concerned about the health of their young pitchers. Edwin Encarnacion steps in with 2 outs. Encarnacion has one of the 2 hits against Price. Solid single into center in the 4th. Here we are at the end of August. Tampa Bay has 3 off days in September, the 8th, the 19th, and the 22nd. So they have to be prudent with how they use their starters. I mean, that's their biggest asset.
Yep. That's what this team is built on.
There goes McCoy deep at third. Longoria rights himself and throws out Encarnacion. Boy, he took his time, knew his runner, and throws out Encarnacion at first. Regrips the baseball, throws a strike. The Blue Jays strand the base runner. Check in with Chad Jenkins, who's at AA New Hampshire. His last 5 starts, all in August. He has a very good opponent's batting average, under 200, and the whip under 1.
He's starting to figure it out at AA. Started the year at Dunedin. He's a former first-round draft pick a couple of years ago. About 6'5" pitcher, throws hard. The book on him is he throws strikes, and it's starting to bear in New Hampshire. 26 strikeouts, just 7 walks. He's made 15 starts there, 11 in Dunedin at the beginning of the year, so he's right at 160 plus innings this season.
162 2/3. You're right on the money. He's allowed just 7 home runs in 15 starts at AA. He's a sinker ball, hard sinker, and he's a very promising power right-hander.
That might be the type of pitcher, starting pitcher, that plays in the American League East. In this ballpark especially. You've got Yankee Stadium, you've got Fenway Park, you've got this ballpark that are great home run hitting teams in home run hitting ballparks. Hard throwing sinker ballers might be the answer.
Sounds like you're talking about Henderson Alvarez.
There you go.
Luis Perez features a pretty good hard sinking fastball. Boy, how about those two guys coming on here late in the season to give you some hope for the future?
Experience is the best teacher, and they're going to gain so much experience by getting their innings the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. They'll learn a lot about themselves too.
Well, it's going to be an interesting month of September to see how the Blue Jays fare against the big horses of the East. I'm going to take on the Yankees and the Red Sox. Going to see the Rays again in a series in St. Petersburg. I don't think either one of these two guys are going to be intimidated by it. Luis Perez made his debut against the Red Sox
in Fenway Park and was not intimidated at all. Blue Jays also have 4 big games against the Los Angeles Angels back here at Rogers Center next month. And when you're facing teams in September who are in the pennant race, you can learn a lot about yourself.
The Angels, 2 games back of the Rangers, sent a little message to Texas last night. Hit 5 solo home runs in that game, and that was C.J. Wilson. Mike Scioscia did some juggling of his rotation to make sure that Santana, Weaver, and Herron were going to pitch in this series. Ron Washington said, we don't care who they are. We've seen them before. They're no big deal. The Angels are coming.
And that could be a very dangerous team. The first round of the playoffs with those 3 starters you just named.
Yeah, and that's the whole key to postseason baseball. You have to have good starting pitching. And those 3 we named are pretty impressive. Zobrist takes the walk. That starts the 7th inning. Brandon Morrow got touched up early in this ball game. First pitch of the game was hit out of the ballpark, but then he settled in, gave up 4 runs in the second, and after that he did a pretty good job. And more than anything, he gave Don Wakamatsu a little bit of length in this game so he could preserve some of the arms in that bullpen.
Pitches into the 6th inning, home run ball. Got Brandon this afternoon, gave up 3 of those. I like the adjustment he made after the 2nd inning. Threw more change-ups, kept the Ray batters off balance.
It's the 4th time in Brandon Morrow's career he's allowed 3 home runs in a game. First time he did it, he was in Seattle starting against Kansas City. Then last year at Fenway Park, excuse me, in 2009 at Fenway Park, and this year earlier against the Orioles right here. Casey Kochman was hit by a pitch in his last at bat. Kochman's had a real turnaround season here, batting .325 at the start of this game.
It's always been known as a great, and I mean a great, glove man at first base. He has spent some times with multiple organizations, and it's always been, can he hit? Well, this year he's putting it all together. .323.
Rami Lewis hits him with an inside pitch, and the first 2 reach here in the 7th inning.
Second time this game that Casey Kochman's been hit by a Blue Jay pitcher. First time was controversial. This time, I think it hit his button on his jersey.
Just barely hit that button. Well, I tell you what, that was, you get 2 of the best hit by pitches you could ever get. And then, excuse me, check swing from B.J. Upton. Upton walked and scored in the 2nd, then singled into the 3rd. He also popped up. And Casey Kochman was awarded first in the 5th. It looked like it was a check swing foul ball, but Jeff Nelson called it a hit by pitch. Popped into center, broken bat pop up. McCoy makes the catch. Boy, Upton's been sawed off a couple of times here this afternoon.
Not just cracked or splintered his bat, sawed off, where the only thing left in his hand is the handle. You see him shaking his head after that one.
Watch the bat handle in his hand. He looks like a relay runner.
Rated. Hand off the baton. Last time up, he did the same thing. Popped that one up to the second baseman.
1 out. Matt JOYCE. He's 0 for 3 this afternoon. Tampa Bay has scored 5 runs on 7 hits, but as we mentioned, they hit 3 home runs. Ball on a strike. was a good fastball that tied up Joyce. We mentioned Brandon Morrow's struggles here at this ballpark this season, and it's totally opposite of what it was a year ago. He went 8-1 last year. His home ERA after this start today has gone up to 6.38. That's compared to 2.83 on the road. It's just opposite of what he did last year.
Last year, he won 8 games here in this ballpark and just dominated. 8-1 last year with an ERA of 2.74, and struggled on the road.
Full count, 1 out. Zobrist and Kochman not running. Breaking ball is popped back. Fouled out of play. Rami Lewis has already thrown 38 pitches. Tampa Bay has worked him over a little bit. He walked Zobrist, and he's got a full count here. He hit Casey Kochman in between. He's thrown a lot of pitches. Came into the ball game with 1 out in the 6th. There's a base hit into right field. Bautista has a kick off his glove, and Zobrist will come in to score. Both runners are going to move up. There's the tag at second. Safe. There's Matt Joyce at second. Zobrist looked like he was going to stop at third. That ball was hit right to Bautista, and it kicked off the heel of his glove.
Ball came up on him in right field. He was getting set to try and throw out Zobrist at the plate. Ball hit softly by Joyce as he sends it into right field. Bautista sets his feet, and right there it comes up on him, hits off his heel. Now he thinks he's got a shot at second base, and he tries, and it looked like he did. But just ahead of the tag slides Matt Joyce. He'll move up on the error.
It's a base hit for Matt Joyce. An error on Bautista, no RBI on the play. So now the infield has drawn in halfway. John Jaso, the catcher, gets jammed, and the drawn in infield forces Kochman to stay at third. Jaso's retired. There are now 2 outs. You know, it's really interesting about that ball that Bautista made the error on. 2 days ago at the start of batting practice, Bautista had all the outfielders out there taking ground balls in right off the Ponza machine, a batting practice pitching machine. They were taking ground ball after ground ball just to get a refresher on those balls.
At Jose's request, he wanted to work on moving laterally to his left, to his right, picking the ball up and picking up the bases. So he got the outfielders together. Every one of them were out there. Torey Lovello and some of the other coaches were out there feeding that machine.
Sean Rodriguez lifts it into center field. McCoy comes in, makes the catch. Tampa Bay gets an insurance run here in the 7th. They've expanded their lead to 6-0. Rogers customers. Sign up today at RogersOnDemand.com. And if you had that with you today, you'd be witnessing a pretty impressive start from Tampa Bay's left-hander David Price.
It started in the first inning, walked the first batter, that 7 straight outs recorded via the strikeout. Last inning was the first inning he didn't get one.
Kelly Johnson pops it out of play. We mentioned the Tampa Bay franchise record for strikeouts is 13. Scott Kazmir and James Shields. Kazmir did it August 25th of 2007 against the Oakland Athletics. James Shields did it earlier this year, July 22nd, against the Marlins. And now David Price has tied them. His 13th strikeout is a called strikeout of Kelly Johnson.
Third time that he has gotten Kelly Johnson this afternoon. Second time on that outside fastball. This is the pitch that ties the record right here. He has been carving up that outside corner all afternoon.
Brett Lawrie has gone 0 for 2. Blue Jays with just 2 hits against David Price. We still don't see any stirring in the Tampa Bay bullpen. He's thrown 97 pitches. Up over near the Tampa Bay dugout. JOYCE trying to get to it, but it's over the screen and out of play. Brett Lawrie has a good eye. We have seen that from the moment he was called up. He has an idea what he's doing at the plate. He takes a lot of close pitches, and here he bounces it right back to Price, who gets on it. Lawrie beats it out. Brett Lawrie also runs every time he puts the ball in play.
Yeah, and runs hard. A two-hopper to the shortstop or a comebacker to the mound. This one knocks the glove off of David Price, and Price all over it. But Lawrie just runs too well, and he'll beat it out for an infield single. Stretching all the way down the line.
Well, he plays the game the right way. He's a great example to those Little Leaguers here from Langley, BC, that played in the Little League World Series. That's how you do it. Don't take anything for granted. Jose Molina has a hit. He singled into right field in his first at bat. He was called out on strikes in the 5th.
You know, if you're wondering about pitch counts in David Price, he has thrown 110 pitches or more 17 times this year. Bill Madden doesn't worry about his star left-hander. And it's a lot of fastballs. You know, it's not a pitch that really takes a lot out of him. Sitting at 104 here this afternoon.
I think it's a mindset. You establish a standard for your pitchers and you expect them to go deep into the game. You can see Madden's now looking at the lineup card and they're trying to figure out where they're going to make changes, if indeed he's thinking about a bullpen change. But he always talks to his bench coach, Dave Martinez. Molina chases a high one. And that sets the record for Tampa Bay. 14 strikeouts, a new franchise record for David Price.
Reaching back for a little something extra here in the 7th inning, and he certainly has. That's 95 miles an hour right there upstairs. And as he gets Jose Molina for the second time, 14 punch outs.
Jeff Neiman, Wade Davis. Davis will start on the game tomorrow night, the finale. He is the one on the right of your screen. Big, strong, athletic pitchers. You get them into the mindset of pitching deep into the game, and pitch count is not an issue.
They might have the tallest starting 5 in all of baseball. Saw Neiman yesterday at 6'9". Price is 6'6". James Shields is about 6'4". Wade Davis is 6'5".
Jeremy Hellickson, the rookie in that rotation, is about 6'2".
Yeah, he's the midget, the small guy, just 6'2".
But they are big, athletic, and Jim Hickey does a great job of keeping them strong and healthy. And it's not about a number, that's for sure. It's about an effort level. There's Hellickson, who pitched on Thursday night. Thames fouls it back. Price hasn't lost anything off his fastball. That last pitch was 96.
It's a free and easy motion, and he's got a very sound delivery. Stays back over that rubber. He gets his arm up.
Ames hits it into center field. Upton is there, and the Blue Jays are retired in the 7th. You just have to wonder that that's probably it for David Price. 14 strikeouts. And teammates. 14 strikeouts. He has set a new franchise record in strikeouts.
He might be done. There's the popcorn that he was eating the other day. They have a player up in the bullpen already starting to throw.
Yeah, and Wade Davis said, what, you're done already?
Yeah, just 7
What's
innings.
up with that? Come on. But he did get a handshake from the manager, and he will be out of this game. Joel Carreño comes in to pitch the 8th inning for the Blue Jays.
Carreño was just called up 5 days ago by the Blue Jays from the minor leagues. He made his major league debut 5 days ago, and already 3 games pitched for the Jays. 5 in the 3rd inning to 169 earned run average. The MO on him, he throws a lot of strikes, has a lot of strikeouts. As you see Price leaving the field now with the trainers. Carreño's got a good fastball and a slider. And again, works in this game here. Throws about 92, 93 miles an hour. He's got a good loose arm.
Desmond Jennings has had a big day at the plate. He's homered twice. He walked and he's singled. He's also stolen a base. First pitch slider. Carreño's got a slider that he'll throw anytime. He's got confidence that he can throw strikes with it.
You combine that with his fastball that sinks just a little bit on the right-handers, and he's got good command.
The ball hit to center field, but that'll hang up for Mike McCoy. Jennings is finally retired this afternoon. Carreño, part of the young pitching core the Blue Jays have put together, and they have really stacked up in the minor leagues.
I think this is just the first wave of them that we have seen this year. Luis Perez, Henderson Alvarez, Joel Carreño. We've been talking about them all season long. The young arms that the Blue Jays have put together in the minor leagues.
That's how you're going to get back to contention. You do it with the pitching. You hope to develop enough starting pitching and arms in the bullpen that then you can go out and find bats if you need them. Damon gets his first hit of the afternoon. Just slapped it to left field.
He has done it now 2,701 times. A base hit in the big league. Just slaps the ball right by Brett LAWRIE for his first hit of the afternoon.
Evan Longoria, the third baseman. Inside. Tampa Bay have scored 6 runs in each of these first 3 games of the series, and they have been hard pressed to score any runs. In their 4-game series against the Tigers at home, they lost 3 of those 4 games because they didn't score any runs.
Justin Verlander beat him. You mentioned Brad Penny. He was matched up against today's starter David Price and outpitched him.
Tampa Bay scored 6 runs in 4 games. And then they came in here and they had their hitting shoes on. David Price is back on the bench. Three and 1. Tampa Bay's hit 8 home runs in this series.
That's the rarity. You know, when you talk about Tampa Bay, they have to scratch and claw and find ways to score runs. Home run's been a big part of it. Evan Longoria's hit a couple home runs in this series. Got 24 home runs now on the season. Desmond Jennings with a couple of home runs this afternoon. John Jaso's also gone deep in this series.
Sean Rodriguez hit a 2-run home run.
B.J. Upton hit a huge home run yesterday.
A breaking ball, and Longoria will walk. 2 on. Just 1 out. B.J. Upton, that 3-run home run in the 7th in yesterday's game, proved to be the difference in the ball game. First and second, 1 out. Ben Zobrist continues to have his problems with Blue Jays pitching. 0 for 3 with a walk. The first pitch strike. I mentioned Zobrist for the season came into this game batting .185 against the Blue Jays. 10 hits in 54 at bats. Now 10 for 57.
Had a double in yesterday's game. 43 doubles now on the season for Ben Zobrist.
That leads the majors.
Very quietly putting together a great year. 64 extra base hits on the season for Zobrist. 6 triples and 15 home runs. I'd take those numbers for a second baseman.
1-2. Carreño started in Double-A, so he's got plenty of pitches in his arm, and that's not been a concern. Just trying to get his feet on the ground here, working out of the bullpen.
Yeah, he made 23 starts in Double-A this year. So length in a ball game is not a concern. Certainly has enough pitches. Had 152 strikeouts in the Eastern League, which was at the time second in the league there.
And right back to the slider, and Zobrist strikes out for the 3rd time this afternoon.
Zobrist 1 for 4. Another breaking ball on the outer half.
Casey Kochman been on base twice. He was hit by pitches both times. Way outside. Carreño not as sharp as we have seen him in his previous outings. His fastball, he hasn't been able to throw it for strikes.
3rd time that he has worked in the last 5 days for the Blue Jays. Walked his first batter this inning. That was to Longoria. That time he just hasn't been able to pull that slider back into the strike zone.
3-0. Tampa Bay leads 6-0. Blue Jays have been shut out by David Price on just 3 hits. A 4-pitch walk, second walk of the inning issued by Joel Carreño. This topic copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. This is the 3rd game of 4 between these two teams. Bruce Walton is talking to J.P. Aronseeby a little bit more than Joel Carreño. Probably wondering why they haven't gone with his fastball as much as they did earlier. He's got a good slider, but boy, he has really thrown a lot of breaking balls in this outing.
In this outing, and he's walked a couple of batters. He's given up a hit. B.J. Upton, you know, will be looking for that first pitch fastball right here. Popped up a couple of times this afternoon. He'll be looking for that first pitch heater.
And he was. Chased the breaking ball. That's exactly what Upton did in yesterday's game in the 7th. Jesse Litch came on and issued a couple of 1-out walks and then struck out Ben Zobrist. But the first pitch to B.J. Upton was a fastball, and he hammered it into the seats in left center, a 3-run home run. Carreño called Aronseeby out to the mound. Brandon Gomes appears to be ready, just standing by down in the bullpen. That's a pretty good indication we're going to see him work in the bottom of the 8th. David Price has gone 7 innings. He has established a new franchise record with 14 strikeouts.
As soon as that last out was recorded by Price, Gomes got up and started throwing, just to make sure that he was ready. And there he is now. He's just standing around waiting for this inning to get over.
Ground ball. Escobar goes to first. Upton's retired, and the Rays strand the bases loaded. David Price, his day has come to an end. 14 strikeouts. That's the number he wears on his back. Brandon Gomes will come out of the bullpen to pitch the bottom of the 8th. It's a 6-0 Tampa Bay lead. Now it's time for a connected update. Here's Jamie and Greg live in the Blackberry broadcast studio here at Rogers Center. Win against the Blue Jays. That would improve his record to 9-1. 7 innings of dominance. Just 3 hits, no earned runs, 2 walks, and 14 strikeouts.
Right from the get-go. Second batter of the game, that's where it started. You got Escobar. He recorded 7 strikeouts, the first 7 outs recorded. Just kept piling up. There was only 1 inning where he didn't strike out at least 2 batters, and that was in the 6th inning where he had a walk. So David Price in line for that win, his 12th win of the season. They'll turn it over to the bullpen now, and Brandon Gomes comes out. He was acquired from San Diego in the Jason Bartlett deal back in December. Made his major league debut versus Toronto down at the Tropicana field when he came in relief of Wade Davis. He's had a good year for him.
He's made 4 appearances against the Blue Jays this season, 4 2/3 in total, just 2 hits allowed. Kind of a slinging arm action, and he'll throw a sinking fastball and a sweeping breaking ball.
Yeah, he'll throw a lot of breaking balls too at any time. You see he's got that split grip for his changeup. Lots of strikes. He did not make the team out of spring training. Went to Durham, which is AAA for the Tampa Bay Rays. Had a 107 earned run average, 7 for 7 in save opportunities. He had 40 strikeouts and just 7 walks. Throw strikes.
He's ahead of Aaron Sebia, 0-2. Longoria on the run, throws JP out.
It's Canada's best-selling car 13 years in a row. Honda, the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
One out here in the 8th inning at Rogers Center, and it's been all Tampa Bay and David Price. David Price with 14 strikeouts this afternoon. Mike McCoy has been on base twice. He walked twice against Price. The only 2 walks that Price issued. To put the strikeout total in perspective, 14 strikeouts against the Blue Jays. Jared Weaver earlier this year on the 10th of April had a 15 strikeout game. And then you get a who's who of pitching. Randy Johnson back in '94 also had a 15 strikeout game. In '91, Nolan Ryan struck out 16 Blue Jays, as did Mark Langston in 1988. And Randy Johnson also a 16 strikeout game in '95. So that's a pretty impressive list of power pitchers. And of course, Langston, Johnson, and Price, all left-handed power pitchers.
Yeah, I'll put those 2 guys, the Weaver and Price, in the Randy Johnson and the Nolan Ryan for pure power.
Fans, test your knowledge and win additional Sharp prizes by visiting the new Hit a Home Run with Sharp Facebook page. And a great opportunity to win some beautiful Sharp prizes. Mike McCoy, his 3rd walk of the afternoon.
The only Blue Jay batter not to strike out this afternoon.
Junel Escobar trying to get something going here against Brandon Gomes and the Rays bullpen. First pitch strike. Base hit up the middle. Mike McCoy will stop at second. Escobar reacts as if he said, finally, a base hit. It's been a struggle for him lately.
Certainly has. He hasn't been able to find the hole, but this time he does. Good hitters have good plate coverage. And you know, Escobar covered the plate that time, sending that one back through the middle. That base hit is getting the bullpen for the Rays moving around.
Well, this is the meat of the order. Chance to get back in this ball game. Big sweeping breaking ball. We mentioned that Gomes has made 4 previous appearances, just 4 2/3, so nobody has a real good track record against Brandon Gomes. They just haven't seen him an awful lot. Going to be a guy you're going to have to stay on, especially a right-handed batter. He throws you that slow breaking ball and doesn't really overpower you.
I think you're going to have to go up there looking for that breaking ball. He'll throw a lot of them. Early in the count, go ahead and take the fastball, but sit on that pitch right there.
Looks like Bautista's doing just that. Mark Teahen has grabbed a bat and he's come out on deck. Three and one. Three balls and a strike, 1 out. Breaking ball was floated over the inside corner.
You throw it 3-1, you got to throw it 3-2, don't you?
Yeah, you would think so. You see, Encarnacion doesn't appear to be anything wrong with him physically, but Tian appears to be ready to pinch hit for Edwin. 3-2, 1 out. There it is again. Bautista called that on strikes.
Again, he'll throw you a lot of breaking balls. He throws it 3-1 for strike 2, and here it is, 3-2. And I think Jose knew it. It ended up in the middle of the plate and plenty high enough as John Jaso holds it there. Home plate umpire Jeff Nelson.
Jim Hickey out to talk to Brandon Gomes about the pinch hitter, Mark Tian, just to make sure that Gomes has an idea. Tian, a left-handed batter, is batting for Edwin Encarnacion. Left-handers have hit .375 against Brandon Gomes, and that has something to do, I'm sure, with Wakamatsu's decision to use Tian here. Goes after the first pitch and lifts a fly ball into left. Jennings makes the catch. The Blue Jays get something going, but strand a pair of base runners. We'll go to the ninth. Jays down by 6. Jays live from anywhere, online or on the go at RogersOnDemand.com.
What an afternoon for David Price, as he established very early on today that he was going to use his fastball and that he was going to keep it on the corners. He went through the Blue Jays with 14 strikeouts through his 7 innings of work. He has now allowed 3 runs or less in 60 of his 83 career starts. Just another day at the office, I guess, for David Price this afternoon. He was good.
Looking to improve to 12-11 on the season. New pitcher for the Blue Jays. And you see Tian, who pinch hit for Encarnacion, takes over defensively at first. And Will Ledesma, the left-hander, will come out to start the ninth.
He's got a good arm. He can throw it up there at 95 miles an hour. He actually hit 96 the other day. It's free and easy, but problems that he has had, you see 6 hits in 5 innings and 4 base on balls. If he can command his pitches, he can be an asset from the left side for any team. He has spent some time with the Tigers organization.
He's got a good arm. It's always been about his ability to throw strikes and command that great fastball. He's got a couple of left-handers that he'll face to start the ninth. Matt Joyce, John Jaso. First goes after the first pitch.
They're almost ready for that one. Ledesma was originally signed by the Red Sox back in 1998, so he's been around for a long time. Tigers got him in a Rule 5 draft. He spent some time with the Atlanta Braves, San Diego Padres, Arizona Diamondbacks. I love his arm. You know, when you throw 95 miles an hour, it's the inconsistency with the breaking ball and being able to throw it for a strike.
Yeah, if you can't throw it for a strike, you certainly give the hitters the advantage where they can just sit back and look fastball, and even if you have a good fastball, they'll catch up to it. Upstairs, 3-1. Matt Joyce leading things off here in the ninth. Tampa Bay scored 1 in the first, 4 in the second, and 1 more in the seventh.
They have also left 12 runners on base through 8 innings. It hasn't been a 3-up, 3-down inning all afternoon. They have grinded out at bats, done their thing to get on base.
3-2. Center field, indeed. Mike McCoy racing back. He's not going to get it, and it bounces out of play as Joyce got a fastball with the full count and gets the ground rule double to center.
Matt Joyce got up to a great start for Tampa Bay this year, so they started playing him every day. Having trouble versus the left-handers of late, but his last 2 at-bats, he got a single off of Rami Lewis, a left-hander, in the 7th inning. He now sends this ball on 1 hop over the wall for a double off of another left-handed pitcher. 26 doubles now this year for Matt Joyce. Finally healthy.
And Joyce was among the league leaders in batting average early in the season. John Jaso looks at one upstairs. Matt Joyce hit .321 in April with 2 homers and 9 RBI, and then in May he hit .414 with 7 home runs and 21 ribbies.
Started playing just a little bit more, went through a little bit of a rough spot.
Hit under 200 in both June and July, but he's back up to 290 during the month of August. Ball and a strike to the catcher, John Jaso. Jaso had one of the biggest hits of the afternoon in my mind when he had a 2-out double just inside the bag at third. He came with 2 strikes.
Just reached out on a curveball.
Just like that.
Like that.
That ball is going to get by McCoy and go all the way to the wall. Bautista after it. Jaso headed for third, and he will get there standing up. Jaso, his first triple of the season, drives in his 2nd run as Joyce scores all the way from first.
And they might need some oxygen over there at third base. That is a long trip around the bases if you're not used to it. Jaso will pick up the RBI with the runner on base. Short swing, just reaches out and tries to pull the ball with the runner at second base and nobody out. And he'll be rewarded with a triple as Mike McCoy gets over there, dives for it, no chance to get it. Trip around the bases. He's now at third base with no outs.
Sean Rodriguez, big swing at that first pitch fastball. Jaso, that's his 4th career triple. He had 3 last year. Pat had mentioned earlier, Jaso was used as a leadoff man a lot last year by Joe Madden. Up and away. We mentioned that Ledesma's always had trouble with command of the strike zone and just kind of flinging that ball up and away, and it's caused him to pitch from behind.
Front shoulders opening up just a little bit too quickly and not staying up on top of that ball, driving towards home plate.
Changeup missed downstairs. It's 3-1 now. Rodriguez takes a walk. Still nobody out here in the ninth. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. Zach Britton started that game and went 7 innings and gave up all 4 hits. Jim Johnson had a good 8th inning. Bartolo Colon, he also pitched well, 7 2/3 of 7 hit ball.
Wonder if they're going to be playing some double headers there because of the hurricane. I think they had a doubleheader yesterday.
They had a doubleheader rained out yesterday. And they have dealt with the weather, as have the Mets, the Nationals, the Red Sox. Red Sox got their games in the rain.
They fought through the rain yesterday. Don't know what they're doing today.
Desmond Jennings takes a strike. 0-2. And Baltimore had the Yankee doubleheader rained out. There's a doubleheader today as well, 1:35 and 7:35, and then a Monday game.
One of those games was a makeup game. Wasn't that a 5-game series in 4 days between those two teams?
They opened up on Friday. Orioles beat the Yankees and A.J. Burnett 12-5, and then their doubleheader was postponed yesterday, so they've got 3 more games to play after this one this afternoon. 2-2. Runners at the corners, nobody out. A run in here in the 9th. Will Ledesma, in his first inning of work, has yet to retire a batter. Matt Joyce with a ground rule double to center. John Jaysa with a triple to right center. And Sean Rodriguez has walked. Base hit for Jennings. Jayso jogs home. Jennings has had some day at the plate. It's his 4th hit. He's been on base 5 times.
They got him out last time on a fly ball to center field. Just last inning, he led off the 8th inning with that fly ball, and they bat around. He hits here in the 9th inning and picks up that 4 hit. Just reaches out on the outer half and just slaps at it. And he gets it into center field. Another RBI. He's driven in 3 runs this afternoon. And he's also had a stolen base.
Damon is retired. You can hear the Bronx cheer for the Blue Jays. They finally get it out here in this inning.
Off the end of the bat, that's easy for Mark T to make the play.
Desmond Jennings with 4 hits, first time in his career he's had a 4-hit game. He's at 2nd. Sean Rodriguez is at 3rd for Evan Longoria. Eight 8-0 Tampa Bay. Two more runners in scoring position. That's deep into center field. Rodriguez is tagging at 3rd. Jennings is tagging at 2nd. MCCOY's throw is toward 3rd. It'll be cut off. Longoria picks up the RBI with the sac fly.
Nobody has driven in more runs since the All-Star break than Evan Longoria. Got off to a rough start this year, but he is turning it on.
77 ribbies now for the Rays' 3rd baseman. Jennings has had a terrific day at the plate. Pair of home runs, 4 hits for the first time in his career. And it's 9-0. Bounced up the middle, base hit. Zobrist gets his first hit, and it's a 10-0 game. Jennings scores for the 3rd time.
Ben Zobrist on for the second time. He'll pick up a 74th RBI with that seam guy hit right back through the middle. For the most part, these teams have played very competitive games, back and forth all season long. Tampa has been winning the season series all season long. You can see the numbers. 13 of 18 meetings, they've won 9 of them, but they've been back and forth except this game.
Yeah, this is the second real blowout that we have seen this season. Tampa Bay also won a 9-1 game earlier in the season, but other than that, the games have been very close. Not the case today. It was all about David Price. And he didn't need many runs of support. Casey Kochman has been on base 3 times. He's officially 0 for 2. He was hit by a pitch twice and walked. Kochman is the only starter not to have a base hit this afternoon.
He's been hit a couple of times, and he has walked 1 time. Still sitting at .323 for the season.
Full count, 2 outs. Ben Zobrist at first. They're playing behind him, of course. So he'll get a running start. Another walk. Second walk of the inning issued by Will Ledesma. And B.J. Upton will be the 9th man to bat. Not much Don Wakamatsu can do in this situation.
You don't want to be burning out your bullpen. He's got to finish this one off himself.
Tampa Bay with 4 runs in this inning. Upton with a big cut, fouls it back. Four runs on 4 hits and 2 walks in this inning. Oh, and 2. Inside. Tampa Bay to start of play 9 games back in the AL East. In the wild card race, they find themselves 7 back of the Yankees. 2-2. After this game, Tampa Bay will have 29 games left on their schedule.
Get their chances against the Red Sox and the Yankees in the month of September, but they can't be looking ahead to that. I'm just worried about what they can do today to win a ball game.
They're always going to give you a good opportunity with their starting pitching. Wade Davis will go to the mound tomorrow. He'll be opposed by Ricky Romero. That'll be the 4th and final game of this series. Fouled off by Upton. This is the last trip for the Tampa Bay Rays into Rogers Center this year. The Blue Jays will have one more trip down to St. Petersburg. That'll take place the last week of the season. Their final road trip of the season September 23rd, 24th, and 25th. 3 games in Tampa Bay, and then they wrap up the season with 3 games in Chicago. Full count. Ledesma has thrown 35 pitches in this 9th inning. There go the runners. The bases are loaded. Another walk.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to throw that one a little bit too hard. And went out of the strike zone. Spent some time. He's been around for a long time. And again, there's not much that they can do. They're just hoping he can get himself out of this problem. You can't get somebody up to get 1 out.
No. Jesse Litch needs the day off. We talked about that early on. Casey Janssen, you save for games in which you have a lead. Frank Francisco is the closer. Carreño's already pitched. Lewis went an inning and 2/3. Ledesma's just got to get out of this inning. Matt Joyce started it with a ground rule double to center. There's a strike. A rough start and a rough ending here in this game. Tampa Bay was up 5-0 after 2, and now they have scored 4 here in the 9th.
It's a bad feeling when you're out there on the mound and you just can't throw the pitch over what you want to. Hasn't been able to throw a strike with his breaking ball.
It's a bad feeling everywhere. Manager sitting in the dugout is helpless, can't do anything about it. Not a bad feeling in the Rays dugout, obviously.
Fielders can't do anything about it. They're getting back on their heels.
And now you got to get Sean Camp up. Ledesma's thrown 40 pitches. Camp pitched in yesterday's game, pitched in the inning. There's a fly ball to left field. Thames back. It's off the wall. 2 runs are in. The third will stop at third. Upton is held up. Matt Joyce with a pair of doubles in this inning. He drives in 2.
Add on when you can. Matt Joyce started the inning with the double to center field. Knock in a couple of runs now. 58 RBIs, sends this one over the head of Eric Thames in left field for 2 more runs.
John Jaso. Jaso had a triple to the gap in right center. Drove in Matt Joyce. Ball and a strike. These games are really tough to get over. You're playing one of the contending teams in the East, and Tampa Bay has been a postseason team. They've gone to the World Series, and you're trying to gain some confidence in the final 5 weeks of the season, build some momentum for next year. Jaso to center field. McCoy drifts back almost on the warning track, and finally the Rays are retired. Tampa Bay scores 6 in the ninth. They lead 12-0. A 4-game series beginning Monday, Labor Day. That's a day game, 1:07 Eastern Time start. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all 3 night games. The Red Sox league leading 82-51 at the start of play this afternoon. Call the Blue Jays directly at 416-341-1234. Or on thebluejays.com. Stop by most Rogers Plus locations.
Note the 1 o'clock game on Monday, September the 5th. The Sox are coming.
Jacoby Ellsbury's got a chance to be the comeback player of the year. He's had a career high in home runs.
I'm going to throw him in the MVP race.
He's had a career high in home runs, doubles, and RBI.
What a spark plug.
Played in 18 games a year ago because of injuries, but I agree with you. I think he's certainly going to be the comeback player of the year, and he's got a chance to be MVP.
He'll certainly be in the discussion when you talk about that in a month from now.
Brandon Gomes throws it all the way back to the backstop. It's 2-0.
Well, this is a game that you have to just file away and forget about. You got to come out tomorrow, and you got Tampa again. Then you go on the road and you face the Orioles and the Yankees. Can't let this one linger.
No, that's for sure. And it's tough, really tough to get the taste out of your mouth after you have a game like this. Not only did David Price rack up 14 strikeouts, but then he just couldn't get out of the game, couldn't close out the game.
Yeah, insult to injury after the 14 strikeouts. You give up 6 in the 9th inning.
Don't look now, but the Baltimore Orioles have won 5 in a row. They're scoring a lot of runs. They've turned over their roster. Even with Adam Jones out of the lineup, they've been scoring quite a few runs of late. We mentioned they beat the Yankees last night, or on Friday night. They beat the Yankees 12-5. They beat up on A.J. Burnett.
They can hit some home runs now, that team.
J.J. Hardy, Mark Reynolds, Nick Markakis, Adam Jones providing some offense for the Orioles. Brandon Gomes racks up a strikeout. That's 4 strikeouts for Kelly Johnson this afternoon. And with that, Joe Madden has come out of the dugout and he's made a pitching change. A curious 12-0 game that he's making a pitching change, but it looks like the left-hander Cesar Ramos will come out of the bullpen to get some work. San Diego at Arizona. That'll be on Sportsnet. East Ontario, Western Pacific. Aaron Hill and John McDonald are both in the lineup. Corey Lupke for the Padres against Ian Kenby for the Diamondbacks. Arizona has won 5 straight, and they have a 3-game lead in the West. So much more baseball to come right here on Rogers Sportsnet. Cesar Ramos making his first appearance of this series. Brett LAWRIE. LAWRIE had an infield hit on a comebacker off the glove of David Price his last time up.
Ramos has been up and down with this team a couple of times this year.
LAWRIE drives it to left center. That'll get down for a base hit. Desmond plays it on a hop. LAWRIE has 2 hits.
Jennings thought this ball was hit a little bit harder than it was. It was off the end of the bat. Went towards his left, like left center field, like this ball was smoked in the gap. But you can see on the replay it's off the end of the bat, and it falls in for LAWRIE's second hit.
Jose Molina, he is the DH this afternoon. He has a hit, also has a pair of strikeouts. Oh, 0-2. Molina strikes out. Third time he has gone down on strikes.
Looked like an off-speed pitch from Ramos. He's recalled 3 weeks ago, and this is just his second appearance. So Joe Maddon needs to get his left-hander a chance to get some work. He ends up striking out Molina. He was another one of those pitchers that came over from San Diego in that Jason Bartlett trade.
Eric Thames takes a first pitch strike. Thames dropped down to the 8th spot in the order with David Price starting this game. Fouls it back. Blue Jays have gone down on strikes 17 times this afternoon. The franchise record is 19. Have done that twice. Both of those were extra inning games. 18 strikeouts in a 9-inning game. And that's what it'll be. 18 strikeouts here this afternoon for Tampa Bay. David Price set the tone. Cesar Ramos strikes out the side in the 9th. Big offensive days all around. Desmond Jennings, his first 4-hit game of his career. Tampa Bay, 12-0. They've won all 3. Now stay tuned for more baseball. Aaron Hill, John McDonald, and the Arizona Diamondbacks coming up next.